What's happening, everybody? It's Dave Bowen, the last honest marketer, and today I have a very, very powerful message that I want you to pay very, very close attention to. And possibly I would recommend grabbing out a pen and paper, because that is how important this message is for you. It's something that has totally changed my life, totally impacted my life, and not only impacted my life, but impacted lives around me because of this one thing. And this one thing is so important that had our forefathers not known this tip and not used this tip, the world would not be what it is today. Things would be totally different. It literally has the power to change history. Okay? It literally has the power to impact thousands, even millions of lives. This one simple thing. So pay close attention, and I'm telling you, you're going to get tremendous value. You're going to get what you've been looking for in order for you to succeed. That is my goal. You know, not to get off track here, but one other tip that I'm going to give you in this video is that for everything that you do, you should set an intention. You should get out a piece of paper. You should write down what your intention is for that thing that you're doing. For instance, my intention for this video was to give you what you need to succeed, to give you what you've been looking for to experience success, to inspire you. Okay? That was my intention for this video, and I'm going to give it to you if you pay close attention. Now, what is this one thing that I'm going to talk about? This one thing that I'm going to talk about is knowing the difference between adversities and failures. I'm going to say that again. Knowing or learning the differences between adversities and failures. Because there's a very, very big difference. All right? And basically, you are the only person who can call something, who can determine something as a failure. Okay, you're the only person that can accept something as a failure. Now, I actually would like for you to just take the word failure out of your vocabulary, because my opinion is that nothing in life, nothing that we do is a failure unless we accept it as a failure, unless we quit, unless we give up on that certain thing. Everything in life, I would prefer you to call it a lesson. Everything in life is a lesson. Okay, adversities are lessons. And I want to give you a couple stories, okay, in this video. And right now, what I want you to do is to close your eyes. Think back to a time when you experienced struggle, when you had an adversity in your life, okay? When you experienced something that was not easy. When you experienced something that you wanted to give up, but you didn't, and you kept pushing on. And then I want you to think back to what happened after that. There's a quote that I love, okay, and it's called, "This too shall pass." Now, so many people don't understand that, okay? They just give up or they quit because they're experiencing pain, they're experiencing struggles, and they don't think that they can continue on. But in this exercise, I want you to think back to that time and remember how much things changed once you pushed through, and how big of an impact it had in your life. You know, how things would have been completely different had you have given up, had you accepted it as a failure. For instance, okay, I've told this story many, many times, but it's so powerful that I want to tell it again. And that is about a year ago almost, I left this good job I had here, where I was making great money, had a nice apartment, had nice things, and I left this job to go help my dad open up a brand new dealership in West Virginia. Yeah, I know, West Virginia of all places. Trust me, I don't want to go back. No offense to any West Virginians watching this, but that's just not the place that I want to live. But anyways, just a little joke there for you. Get a little laughter going. Anyways, so I went down there and I was all in. I had put all my chips in. Okay, I had put everything on the table, and I was really depending on this to work out. I was really depending on this to be, the last job that I had, to be the place that I was going to stay at for a long time, to possibly even run this place. And needless to say, a couple months later, I realized that it just wasn't going to work out. And, at that point in time, I understood that everything happens for a reason. And what I did is I was so frustrated. I was so upset. I almost accepted it as a failure. I felt like a failure. And what I did is I got on my knees and I prayed to my higher power, whom I choose to call God. You can call him whatever you want, okay? We're all talking about the same thing. And I prayed to him, asking him to show me his will for me, to guide me to where he wanted me to go. I asked him to allow me to do his will, not mine. And so what happened is I got home, and something was telling me, that I did not want to go back to the car business. Okay, something was telling me that. And what happened, as a matter of fact, I just came to this realization just a little bit ago, that when I came home, I went to the dealership that I had left, okay, and they wanted me back. They wanted me back really bad because I sold a lot of cars for them. I made them a lot of money, and I was very reliable. I was always at work, rarely ever missed work. And I almost, actually, as a matter of fact, I accepted, and I said I would go back, but I needed a week or two to just relax, to just relax. And what happened is something inside of me, if you ever have a hunch, I want you to understand that that is infinite intelligence, that is God speaking to you, and you need to act on that hunch. Like maybe right now you have a hunch that you should click that link below and get started in our team today and change your life and change people's lives around you. Maybe you have that hunch right now, and I want to tell you that you need to act on these hunches, okay? Because it's God, it's infinite intelligence, the universe, whatever you want to call it, telling you, trying to speak to you and get through to you that, this is something that you need to do. Anyways, and I had this hunch, okay? I had this hunch that said, don't go back. So what happened is I actually went back in and I declined. I said, look, something is telling me not to do this. Something is telling me to not come back. And long story short, what ended up happening is a few months later, I was introduced to network marketing. And if you watched my video yesterday, you heard me say that network marketing is responsible for changing and impacting my life. It is responsible for introducing me to personal development, which has totally transformed my life. If you went and watched one of my very first videos, if you could go out and find it, and then compared it to this, you would be amazed at the transformation that I've gone through, because I understood at that time, without knowing it, the difference between adversity and failure. Now, if I had accepted West Virginia as a failure, if I had just accepted that, I guess I got to go back to where I was, I guess I got to go back to that same job that I had left, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here speaking to you today, inspiring people to make a difference in their life. How different things would be if I had accepted it as a failure. Now, give you another example. There's a show on History Channel called The Men Who Built America. Okay, and I highly, highly recommend that you watch that show. It's very inspirational. I love learning about people that have done great things. Back when I was really young, I read and researched Thomas Edison and Henry Ford. I was just fascinated, even as a little kid, as to what these people had achieved. Well, in this show, they talk about all the great forefathers. Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, all these guys. And they were talking about Henry Ford, and this is one thing that I didn't know. Of all the things that I know about Henry Ford, all the research I've done, I didn't know this. And basically what happened is, Henry Ford had this dream, he had this vision of creating and manufacturing an affordable automobile that every person could afford. And, because back then, automobiles were only for the rich and wealthy. So anyways, there was a group of people called, I believe, Alma, and they owned the patent to the automobile, and if someone wanted to manufacture, like Henry Ford wanted to manufacture the automobile, he had to go through them. So he went to him, he pitched his idea, he pitched his vision, And a couple weeks later or so, whatever it was, they had actually declined him. They didn't approve him. So he could not manufacture the automobile. Well, most people would have accepted that as a failure. They would have accepted the fact that, look, I guess this just isn't meant to be. There's nothing I can do about it. Well, Henry Ford had a big dream. He had a big vision, and he wanted to change the world. So he understood the difference between adversity and failure, and he didn't accept it as a failure. What happened is he challenged the fastest race car driver in the day, who was actually a member of ALMA, to a race. Now keep in mind, Henry Ford had never raced a car before. Matter of fact, he hadn't even really tested his automobile. So he goes to this race with the underdog, with really no chance of winning. He was the underdog. Well, long story short, of course, he won. And he got his name out there, and that was responsible for him eventually being able to manufacture his automobile, being able to manifest his dream, all because he understood the difference between adversity and failure. I really want you to let that sink in, guys. How different would things be today if Henry Ford had accepted that as a failure? Ponder that for a second, because I'm telling you, it's powerful. What are you accepting as failures that could literally not only change your life, but could change lives around you? Are you accepting the fact that you don't think you can make money online stop you from clicking that link below and getting started? I mean, think about that for a minute, guys. Really think about that for a minute. Because you can impact and you can change lives by just making that simple decision for a measly $25 to get started today, and not only change your life, but change people's lives around you. Okay, so really ponder that. Another quick story and end this video here. Thomas Edison. The guy failed 10,000 times to make the light bulb. 10,000 times. Now, I actually like to call them lessons, and even Thomas Edison said that he had found 10,000 ways not to make the light bulb. And eventually he, of course, made the light bulb. Now, imagine if he had accepted that as a failure. If he had accepted the fact that, look, I failed 10,000 times, I'm not going to figure it out. Imagine how different things would be today, guys. Imagine. Just ponder that powerful, powerful message, guys. So stop accepting things as failure and start learning from your adversities. Start accepting them as lessons and learn from them and grow from them. Another story from my past is, I am a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. And I can't tell you how many people tell me that, I act way older than my age. I'm only 24 years old. And, it's funny to me because I see all my acquaintances, all the people I went to high school with, just partying, living life, just existing, not living. There's a difference between existing and really living. And these people are just living. These people are just existing. While I'm out here living, I'm creating my dreams, I'm inspiring others, I'm changing lives because of the fact of what I've been through, in my alcoholism and drug addiction, because I have been the one that had nothing. I have been the one that had a negative $300 bank account. I've been the one that's been evicted from my apartment and really had nowhere to stay. So I can speak from experience that adversities, if you learn from them, will change your life and they will grow you as a person. Love you guys. Really, really ponder this message and implement it in your life. And click that link below and just stop procrastinating. Stop thinking that you can't do it. I don't care if you failed in every business that you've tried online or every business that you've tried. You can do this if you start accepting those failures as adversities. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Make it a great day.